Hello everyone. So in the last video, we discussed that like how various input devices convert human readable form into bits, and how output devices convert the computer understandable bits to human recognizable form. Now I am going to discuss like once the data is converted into bits or a series of bits, then how the data is transmitted. So after the data is converted into bits, right, by the input device, right, once the data is converted into bits, right, then the bits are basically transmitted and before they are transmitted, they are converted to signals, right. So bits are converted to signals so that they can be sent across the network media to its final destination, right. And how the signal is transmitted? So signals are transmitted using various media. There are various media. I'm going to discuss various kind of media which are available so that we can transmit a signal across a network, right. But first of all, let me discuss what is a media through which the signal is transmitted. Media is nothing, it refers to the physical medium. It refers to the physical medium on which the signal is transmitted, right. For transmitted, I am only writing tx, that means transmitted. Okay, so there are various kind of media. Example, copper wire. Then we have like fiber optic cable. We have electromagnetic waves. Electromagnetic waves can be transmitted through air, right. So electromagnetic waves can be transmitted through air. Okay. So now let me discuss what is a signal. Correct. So media we have discussed. The signal is transmitted using media, and there are various kind of media through which a signal is transmitted, right? But the question arises: what is a signal? A signal is nothing but it consists of electrical or optical patterns that are transmitted from one connected device to another. So let me write: a signal consists of electrical and optical pattern that are transmitted. For transmitted, I am only writing tx, that are transmitted from one connected device to another. That is a signal. Okay. So that is a signal. So let me take a new page. So signal can be converted into various form. Signal can be converted into various form before it reaches its final destination. Before it reaches its final destination. Okay. So the signal can be converted into various form before it reaches its final destination. And there are various common methods of signal transmission which are generally used in the network. Okay, so let me discuss various common methods that are used in signal transmission. And these methods are: first method, electrical signal. Then we have optical signal. Then we have wireless signal. Okay. So what happens in electrical signal? In electrical signal, the transmission is achieved by representing data as electrical signals across copper wire. Okay. So whenever we talk about the electrical signal, right, we are going to represent the signal in the form, or the data, right? The data is represented in the form of electrical signal, and this electrical signal is transmitted across the copper wires. Okay. Whenever we talk about the optical signal, in optical signal, the transmission, for transmission I am only writing Tx. The transmission is achieved by converting the electrical signal into light pulses. In light pulses. Okay. So this happens as an optical signal. Whenever we talk about an optical signal, the transmission is achieved by converting the electrical signal into light pulses. Okay. And whenever we talk about a wireless signal, in wireless signal, what happens in a wireless signal? The transmission is achieved. The transmission is achieved by using infrared or microwave or radio waves, right? So that is how the transmission is achieved in the wireless signal case. So whenever we talk about any, the common the home network and a small network, right, or a business network. So network signals in a small or office business network, generally they are transmitted using the copper wires like cables or Wi-Fi's or wireless connection. And whenever we talk about like larger networks, in larger networks we generally use fiber optic cables. And the benefit of using a fiber optic cable is that it is reliable, and it can carry large signal for longer distances. So fiber optic technology is pretty much more advanced as compared to the copper wires. So it depends upon like which kind of network we are using, and how far we want to carry the signals. Okay. So let me show in the form of little diagram. Whenever we are talking about a different network, so let me save this. Okay. So whenever we talk about like the electrical signal, and here I am talking about like the optical signal, and then here I am talking about the wireless signal. Okay. So for the purpose of simplicity and for you guys, for you to easy to understand, right, let's suppose I have a PC1 and I have a PC2. Okay. And then let's suppose again I have a PC1 over here and I have PC2. Let's suppose I have PC1 and I have PC2. Okay. So whenever I am talking about an electrical signal, right, my data is being transmitted in the form of electrical signal, right? This is the transmission media or the TX, transmission media. That is how my signal or the data is being transmitted. Okay. First, the human recognizable form is going to be converted into bits, then the bit is going to be converted into signal, and the signal is going to be transmitted using in the form of the electrical signals, right? That is how an electrical signal works. And when I am talking about the optical signal, right, the data is being transmitted in the form of the light, right? So my transmission media is going to be ruled by the light, optical signal. Optical means light over here. Okay. So first of all, my human recognizable form is going to be transmitted, converted into bits. Then the bits is going to be converted into signal, and the signal is going to be transmitted from PC1 to PC2 in the form of the light. Okay. And whenever I'm talking about the wireless signal is simple, right? It's going to be transmitted in the form of EM waves, radio waves, or infrared, right? So first again, my human recognizable form is going to be converted into bits. Then the bits is going to be transmitted in the form of a signal. And how that signal is going to be transmitted? It is going to be transmitted wirelessly through air or through EM waves from PC1 to PC2. Okay, so that is the example of the wireless signal. Okay, so I will see you in the next video. Thank you.